Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most important concepts in Java, classes and objects, the building blocks of any object-oriented programming language. Don't worry if you are new to this. By the end of this video, you will understand these concepts clearly with real-life examples and Java code. And I am giving you the assurance that you will enjoy the lecture. The only thing that you need to do is just hit the subscribe button, give us a like. So let's start the lecture. Lecture number 4, classes and objects in Java. What is object-oriented programming? First of all, we need to understand this. Object-oriented programming is a programming paradigm based on the concepts of objects which contain data or attributes and behaviors, or you can say methods. Actually, methods defines what to do with the data. It manipulates the data inside the class. Everything in Java you will see is classes and objects. Classes actually they are the blueprints, or you can say they are the design, and objects have physical quantity whose behavior is defined in that class. Imagine of an architect. He designed a blueprint for a building. It has details like number of floors, number of rooms, the color of the walls, and maybe method to open the gate or turn on lights. This is a blueprint how the building is going to be built and what are the functionalities of that building. Now, when that blueprint is used to construct a real building in the physical world, something people can live in, that is an object. Key features of object-oriented programming: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. Just give a quick look. Encapsulation means protecting internal data from external force. Inheritance means reusing existing classes. Polymorphism means same interface but different implementations. Abstraction, hiding complexity, just showing only essential details. If you face any problem regarding to these 4 concepts, I would suggest you to go back to my lecture about encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism and abstraction. In that lecture, you will understand everything. Classes in Java. Class fundamentals. We have been using classes from the very beginning of our course. The classes we have been using so far is just to encapsulate the main method, which have been used to demonstrate the basic of Java syntax. You will be very much amazed to hear that a class defines a new data type. Now what is this data type? A data type in Java defines the type of values a variable can store, such as integers, floating point numbers, characters or objects. Java defines primitive data types, integer, double, character and reference type, classes and objects, or non-primitive data types. Java allows creating custom data type using classes, where a class acts as a blueprint to define new data structure with specific properties and behaviors. You know that data structure are the core fundamental of the computer. It defines what to do with the data, what it is going to do. Everything you see in IT field, everything is built on these data structures. Classes defines the data structure. Inside the class, you define how to use your data, how to use the method to manipulate the data. The general form of a class. When you are creating a class, you are declaring its exact form and nature. You can assume this as a container which holds all the data and the methods to manipulate or process the data. The classes that we have seen so far are simple, but most of the real world classes are complex, containing vast amount of data and methods. You will see everything in the upcoming future. Members of classes. The data or variable defined within a class are called instance variables. The code is contained within the methods defined inside the class. Methods work like functions that you have been using in other programming languages. In C programming language, you have seen functions. Functions are used to make code more scalable, modular. Collectively, methods and the variables defined within a class are called the members of a particular class. The methods or variables that you are going to define in your own class is called the members of that class. The variables that you define inside a class are accessed by the method inside your class. Methods are going to manipulate the data. So it's the method that define what to do with the variables. Instance variables. Variables defined within a class are called instance variables. But why? Because each of the instance, or you can say objects, containing its own copy of these variables. As a result, the data for one object is separate and unique from the data from another object, though they both are from the same class. Let's go back to the example of that architect. He has created a design. Now your father wants to have that building. When the building is going to be completed, that is called the object, and the design that the architect has created is the class. Now suppose that your best friend's father also wants to build the same building. He went to the architect and asked for the design with some additional facilities. What the architect can do? He just can include the facilities in the same design. What it does, it reduces the cost of building This is how multiple people can build the same building with their own functionalities by using the same design. Methods. In Java, a method is a block of code that performs a specific task and is associated with a class or object. It defines the behavior of an object and allows code to be reused efficiently. Methods help in achieving modularity, making programs more readable and maintainable. They also promote encapsulation by hiding implementation details, exposing only necessary functionalities. Java supports built-in methods like length for the strings, user-defined methods. What is user-defined methods? The methods that you are going to create for your own class to manipulate the data, to define what to do with the data. That is going to be called user-defined methods that the programmer creates. And built-in methods are the methods that is provided inside Java. Methods play a crucial role in object-oriented programming, making it modular, scalable, maintainable, and supporting polymorphism abstraction. Example of a simple class. Now, look at this. These two keywords are same. Class, class. Actually, class keyword is used before the class name to define it as a class. Now, you have created your own class with instance variable and your method. These methods are going to define what to do with the variable. Inside the method body, you are going to define, you are going to manipulate the data, everything. But notice something. The first letter of each class name is capital, but the method name is small. Why? We will see this. Here the variable named val inside demo class with data type integer is the instance variable, because when you will create object of this class, each object have its own copy of these variables, and display variable is the method. Remember that you have to use Pascal case for writing the classes and follow camel case for writing the name of the methods. Now, what is this Pascal case and camel case? We are going to teach you in this lecture. Naming conventions for classes and methods in Java. Here we are going to learn how to write our class name and methods name, variables name. This is one of the important concepts in Java that you need to learn to make your code more scalable, maintainable, that can be readable to other programmers also. Suppose that when you are creating a large project, there will be many programmers. So you have to define your method name in a way that everybody can understand that. Class naming convention. Class naming convention follow Pascal case, or you can say upper camel case. Second, the name should be descriptive and represent the entity it models. When you will create your own classes, suppose that you want to create a class which is going to return the square value. So you have to write the name of the class should be square or anything else, but not like this. You just cannot put any name in there. You cannot put triangle, though these are valid, but other programmers will not understand what this class is going to do before looking into the code. So you will define the class name in a way that by only seeing at the name, most of the programmers will understand what it is going to do. Class name should be nouns. Class name should be nouns since they represent objects or entities. See, first letter of each word is in capital. This is called Pascal case. When you will create your own class, the name of the class should be in a way that first letter of each word should be in capital. This is called Pascal case. Method naming convention. Use camel case. Now, the name should be verb, because method is going to do something. That's why it is verb. It should be descriptive, same as the class. By only seeing the name of the method, the programmers will understand what it is going to do. That is called descriptive. Now, look at the method name. First letter of the first word is in small, and all the other first letters of the remaining words are in capital. That is called camel case. First word lowercase, subsequent word capitalized, meaning the first letter of all the other words will be in capital. That is the naming convention. Let's have a recap. The class name will follow Pascal case. The methods or variables name will follow camel case. In Pascal case, first letter of each word will be in capital, and the camel case, that is going to followed by the method name and variable name. The first letter of the first word is small, and the first letter of other remaining words will be in capital. What is an object in Java? As I have told you earlier, Objects are the physical quantity that is built from the blueprint or the classes. In Java, an object is an instance of a class that contains state and behavior that is defined inside the class. Objects are the fundamental building blocks of any object-oriented programming. When a class is defined, it acts as a blueprint and objects are created based on that blueprint. The architect made a design. Multiple buildings can be built from that only single design. The buildings that will be built where people can live are the objects, and the one design which is going to define the functionalities of the building is called the classes. Real doll analogy of an object. Consider a car class. Each individual car like a Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic is an object because you can drive it, you can go to your destination. But suppose when the designer designed the car, that is the blueprint. Following that design, car manufacturer makes the car which can be driven by you. State, color, model, engine capacity, fuel type or attributes. Behavior or methods, start, accelerate, brake, honk. Example of object in Java. Look at this car class. You have created your own class named car. Now inside that class you have defined two instance variable that is going to define the color and the model of that car. And inside that class you have two methods, one to start the car and one to accelerate. And you have another class where you have the main method. You have created your object from that car class. This is how object creation is done in Java. In the above example, look at the line car. In the above example, look at the line car, my car, new car. Actually, this is the line that is creating the objects. It can also be written like this, car, my car. It only makes a reference variable to hold the object, doesn't contain the object yet. My car, new, my car, new car. Here is the object is created. Memory has been given to the object dynamically. What does this mean? Let's take an example. Look at my Java source code. I have created my own class. Name class example. Inside that class, I have created a variable called value, which is holding the integer value 20. Now, there is another class called test, which is having the main method. The main method is the method from where the execution starts. Now, look at this line. Example class, class data type. Example class is the class that we have created, and class data type is a variable that is going to hold the data of type example class. Now, what is example class? That is the class that we have created. That's how classes defines data structure. Now, in this line, we have created a variable called class data type, which is going to hold the data structure of type class example. And in the next line, the class data type, which is the variable to hold the data type, is getting the memory address by using the new keyword. In Java, new keyword is used to allocate memory dynamically for the objects. In this line, I have just created a variable class data type of type class example. But in the next line, I am assigning memory to that variable. Now the object is created. Here only the variable is created. Here the variable is getting the memory address. Thus the object is created. Hope so you have understand. And look at this. The name of the class that is holding the main method is test, and the name for the source code is also test.java. The class which is holding the main method, the name should be in the file name of that Java source code. Thank you so much for being with us. Hope so you have enjoyed the lecture. And in the last, if you have enjoyed the lecture, just hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and if you face any problem, just comment below. Okay, have a nice day.